Good evening, everyone. This is Salo, Drive-thru Therapy. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight on another episode. And as always, I'm grateful for your support. I love recording this on a nice little Sunday. I just published an episode, but I just wanted to make this episode and I had a great idea for it. But before I get started on this topic, I wanted to offer you guys a new way to listen to this podcast if you would like to utilize it. It's on YouTube. I just imported most of my podcast episodes on YouTube in a channel that is called Drive-thru Therapy Podcast. And if you just write that down and look it up on YouTube, it will pop up. And I would love it if you can subscribe there. That would just be so helpful to get this information out there to people that need it, which is why I do it. Also, I would like to add in the future content that I can't put on a podcast, just a regular podcast, that would include some kind of video that I'd like to make addressing certain topics. So keep a lookout for that. And I suggest you do subscribe. So just in case those do come out, I want you to get a hold of them. All right. That's it. That's all about the YouTube channel. Again, that YouTube channel is called Drive-thru Therapy Podcast, and you'll find most of my episodes on there. It's just another way to listen to it. I'm very excited for that. And thanks to my mom's suggestion, I think it's a great idea. And I hope it catches more people out there that need to listen to this information. All right. Now let's get to the topic. Tonight's topic is about the practicality of therapy. Now, this is an important topic because most of us, even if we get into therapy, will eventually use it in a mode or time of crisis, but we don't find it practical, or we may not find much use to it on other days that are not crisis filled, or it's not a tough day. I love therapy for that purpose, that it is a wonderful place to go to when you are experiencing a crisis or you have a significant problem you'd like to transition through and solve. Therapy helps us put information out there to take a look at it, sift through it with no judgment, and just to kind of ask questions around it so we can determine what we'd like to do to solve this problem. And it's a wonderful use, a practical use for it. But besides that, what is the point of therapy, or the goal of therapy as a whole on my end? Now, this is my experience with therapy. When I'm talking or listening to clients, this is, there's a place I want to get them to eventually. And this place is emotional fulfillment, a more deeper, emotional quality of life, and being able to see themselves from a profound perspective so they can live their life with more meaning, and in return see others that way as well. When we understand ourselves and our own humanity, we will see other people as well with that depth. And that helps a lot when it comes to feeling more empathy towards another, less angry, less frustrated with others when they do something that is, well, human. So I wanted to kind of tell you some of the goals and the reasons why therapy is practical, and it needs to be part of our practice as a whole. If it's up to me, I'd have people start very early with therapy, because of what it really helps us do. You know, we start school learning academic skills, but we don't learn emotional skills that we'll later use. And we have held academic ability, held it high, elevated it, but we have not elevated the intelligent use of emotions and learning how to use them. Our parents didn't know for the most part. And then we, of course, may not know because we learn a lot from our parents and we learn a lot from school. So as a society, we do not usually spend a lifetime of self-examination. What we're usually doing is reacting to external circumstances. And for the most part, we live on that level that we blame external circumstances for our inner workings, our emotional output and experiences. But that is not the truth. The truth is that we ourselves are the ones that are looking at anything that we're looking at outside of us, and we are making our interpretations. We are adding our biases to it, our experiences to it, our opinions to it, all of that onto what we're looking at. So of course, we choose to, because it is a choice, we choose to affirm and look at things from one specific perspective. It is a comfortable one because our neural pathway and neural networks are already established in that area. So it'll go there automatically. So another way to say that is if I tend to look at things pessimistically, I'll automatically make that interpretation no matter what I see. Even I'll take something that is good and healthy, I'll have a pessimistic perspective painted on it. And the reason why is because I may have these perspectives and left unexamined by me and challenged by me, I will continue to read the world inaccurately. And not only that, it will interfere with the quality of life I would like to have. When we first get into therapy, we really don't know, a lot of us don't know how to label emotions. You don't know, as a therapist, how many times I start with having people learn the language of how to talk about emotions, because most of them don't. And that's very normal. That's our societal programming, is that we don't hold emotional language very high. We usually hold logic a lot higher. So when we're looking at emotions and learning how to talk about emotions in a very intelligent way, in a very useful, practical way, that's a wonderful thing. And we learn this in therapy. We learn how to label our emotions, and we think we know how, but let me tell you the truth. Most people only know how to label anger, know how to label frustration, sadness or depression, anxiety, but we don't know how to label the variety of other feelings that we cope with every day, such as disappointment, such as being excited about something, or lowered motivation, or disinterest, or feeling guilty, or feeling shame. We don't know how to deal with the varied emotions that we feel throughout the day. So therapy helps us understand how to cope with, not only how to label those emotions, but how to cope with them as well. We are not taught how to deal with disappointment. We usually feel it and then we react. So most of the time, us human beings, left unexamined, we're going to just feel and then react on the feeling, because that is the most primitive way of response that we have. We learn that basically from our family, maybe justifying certain reactions based on emotions. If I'm angry, I yell. If I'm frustrated, I yell. If I am upset, I'll go isolate and I just react. So it's wonderful to get into therapy and learn that there are other ways to cope with emotions that are much healthier. And we just kind of dismiss them, but they are healthier. We may not even know that that's possible for us to cope with very difficult emotions in other healthy ways. We may not even know that. So we get to learn that in therapy. It's also learning about our old coping, how we cope with things in the past, but also how we want to learn to cope with them later. If we do not self-examine, if we miss this opportunity, this wonderful gift of self-examination, what's going to end up happening is that we are going to repeat history. We can't help it. The past is part of our memory. You're not born yesterday. It takes years in the making of those beliefs that we've got and the value system that we follow. And we've been reinforcing them for a long time, which makes them familiar to us. And we don't even know that there is anything different, really. We just know them to be the truth. So in self-examining, we get to discover a lot of our past, our beliefs, our values. And the beauty and the miracle of that is that you get to, when you discover and get to know yourself on that deeper level, then you can change. Without this knowledge, this deep knowledge of our past, we are going to have difficulty changing in the future. There's no way you can change unless you know what you're trying to change. Does that make sense? Because in your mind, you think it's normal. I've been seeing things this way. It just naturally comes out. We just see things and interpret things this way. We don't stop to examine for the most part until something gets really, really loud and we have to be forced to examine. So therapy needs to be the most important thing that we do as humans in our history, in our path. And it's not just therapy, but any form of self-examination is fine with me. Fine with me. I think it's wonderful. We have different ways to self-examine, but the one I think is very useful, because I'm a therapist and I have a bias towards this, because I myself know the impact of what it has had on me, which in turn, self-examination has on other people. And me collecting this data for you, I know it's important. And I know that it does change the quality of your life. People will go through a lot less crises because they get to be emotionally available for themselves. What does that mean? It means you get to recognize what you're experiencing, what you're feeling, what you might be even needing in that moment, and what you would like to choose to cope to be or respond. That's a wonderful thing, where before I would just feel, react, cause a problem in my reaction possibly. And then I'm like, oh my God, I don't know why I did that, but I never really investigate it further. We're going to get to know in therapy why you do the things that you do. This matters. This matters. So that's why when you think of therapy and you're going to therapy, I need you to make it consistent and I need you to make it important to you. It's not just I go in when it's just on the tough days. I'm going through a difficult transition like divorce, like getting a new job, marriage, or whatever it is. Those are wonderful reasons to go in as well. But I need you to go in to just double check if there's a simple response you're having and you're like, why am I doing that? Investigate it with your therapist. Investigate some of those things. The therapist will ask questions around it and will help you discover maybe what you might be hiding from yourself. Because essentially that's what a therapist does. I'm not trying to put my interpretation necessarily on it. I'm using your language. I'm using your thoughts. I'm using how you say things, how you cope. I'm using all of what matters to you and to help you to ask those specific questions using that language, using what I know about you. And then we get to discover what your brain would like to tell you from the subconscious realm. The brain has amazing information in the subconscious realm. Without this being explored, we're just going to live kind of thinking that we are so consciously aware of what we're doing, but we're not. We're not. And we just keep repeating stuff out of familiarity, but not because we are actually consciously doing things intentionally. When we start to go to therapy, we start to think about our life from a deeper perspective. And if we're really lucky and our therapist is aware, they're going to help us define what happiness is to us. And we try to help you define it in a very healthy way. I'm not going to change my husband, my wife, my kids in order for me to get happy. The source of happiness needs to be generated from you because you're the one producing those hormones. So I'm going to go straight to the source, which is you, the client. And so you have all the power. And when you get into therapy, you start to understand, even though it's uncomfortable at first, that you have all the power to feel and whatever it is you want to feel, generate whatever emotions you want to generate. And in turn, you will change the quality of your life. You will change the quality of how you respond and how you think about yourself and others. What a wonderful society to live in if we actually, all of us as humans, get into the art of self-examination. And I think it's a wonderful human milestone. Darn it, I think it should be a practice from early age. I have clients that come in and not only that, they find the benefit for themselves that they bring their children in, which I think is wonderful practice. Nothing has to be wrong, friends, in order for you to bring your children into therapy so they can learn how to use emotional language, how to think about their life deeply. They will also learn how to look and be available to their emotions. Look at their emotions and be available to them, which is going to help them later on in life identify what they need to work on as they go, because self-examination, friends, getting to know yourself is a lifelong process. And oh boy, how exciting that it just gets better and better and better. And we're not talking about you're going to become perfect, but you live intentionally and you realize how much power you have as a human being to live a very intentional life, to love yourself through it and love others, and to learn what you're not good at and learning how to get good at it, whatever that may be when it comes to your emotional coping. There is no shame in it. We all got to do it. That's why I always say I am part of the self-examination team. I have a job that basically cannot leave me out of everything that I'm doing. I am always in everything I'm doing. So my emotional well-being, my coping, my emotional stability has to be there when I'm working with other people's emotions and well-being. There's no way that I leave myself out of it. I have to check my biases constantly. I have to know why I'm asking certain questions. Are they relevant or clinically appropriate? Why am I asking these questions? I'm always checking. I'm always checking what my motive is. I'm always checking if I have any biases hidden there, if whatever the case is. I'm always self-examining. So I've got one of those jobs. I can't help but self-examine. So I know the benefit of it. It never gets tiring for me because I know the benefit of it. And not only that, I know I can see people starting to change, to feel better, to self-accept that they're not perfect and that it's okay that they don't come here to be perfect, but they come here to learn. That's what we come here to do. And this becomes easier to self-forgive, easier to apply forgiveness towards others. We start to feel compassion towards our human journey as we're looking at our past and really acknowledging and giving space to all the events that we've gone through and to feel the appropriate feelings, whether it's grief, whether it's sadness, the feeling of loss. We are allowed to feel whatever towards our past, and we create the space for that, which again helps us live a more emotionally fulfilling life. I'm not avoiding or running away from myself. I get to sit with myself peacefully. I am in everything that I do. You are in everything that you do in your life. When your relationship with you is not peaceful, you're trying to run away from yourself. You're not using yourself and your full potential as a human being. And this will appear in everything you're trying to achieve. So work is just it's gonna show up there eventually somewhere. It's gonna show up in your love life. It's gonna show up with your relationship, children, as a parent. It's gonna show up everywhere. Our job today is to make sure that we are going through that self-examination, because again, you're in everything that you do and eventually it'll seep everywhere, and you're not doing it from a place of intentionality, and it's going to show. I mean, what is more important than self-examination? I don't really know, because everything that I'm doing it half-assed, if you will. I'm not doing it fully consciously aware of what I'm doing and checking myself. And I need to. Now, once we get a good hold on our past, understanding it better, understanding how we became a product of it, and even working on what we're deciding to change, then we are left to hit more milestones that will help us go beyond the stuff that we're just living in today, every day. Like, I'm just trying to survive. So we move past survival, and now we start building an empire, a universe on the inside where we can do amazing things, learn amazing things that human beings are capable of doing when you're no longer surviving every day and you're just anxious about things they're not even in front of you, and they're just sad about the past and fear of the future. You get rid of all that. It gets quieter. Now you can work on beautiful, intentional things. And again, you're living in the present moment and you're mindful of it. What is more important than that? I don't know. I don't know what the hell is more important than that. Trust me when I tell you, earning a living isn't more important than me emotionally being set on the right path. That's why therapy is the most practical thing you'll ever have in your life. And this is a lifelong thing. I know insurance companies don't want to hear that, but it's a lifelong process. So even if your insurance company declines giving you more time with therapy, do me a favor, seek it yourself, pay for it out of your pocket, because that helps even with setting the intention that you are doing something for yourself that is a deep and profound function in your life. And that is what we want to do. So let's really start a generation where therapy is the normal thing that we do, that children just learn how to, and I know that's so important, to teach children the emotional language, and to know as a parent, like, hey, I'm not that good at it, but I'm willing to have them have the space to go into a therapist's office and unload and think about things and talk about things and get to learn about themselves a lot more than, let's say, I did growing up. So it's a wonderful thing that you could do for yourself and also for people that you love. You have no idea how grateful I am that most of my clients tell each other about the benefit of therapy. And they're like, hey, you need to go. And wonderful. Like that's most of my client base or my caseload. It's a wonderful thing that I think just needs to keep moving forward, whether it's with a therapy or any form of self-examination, whether it's through a spiritual approach, it doesn't matter. As long as you're self-examining, therapy is just one mode of self-examination, but let's just make it a habit in our human life to self-examine, to learn from our past, so this way we are able to control what we do next with our future. Without you knowing your past, where you come from, how you're a product of it, it's damn near impossible to change anything about the future, because you don't know that it's problematic at all yet. You don't know it yet. So I want everybody to take this seriously. Therapy is a really important part of our life. And if you have the opportunity, do it. I don't even care if you do it once a month. Do it. With a really good, knowledgeable therapist. You'll be able to get a lot of work done within that hour that you're seeing them a month, that you could actually work on things throughout the weeks until you see them again. And it just holds you accountable. It helps you get into the self-examination mode and when you walk into therapy, and then when you leave it. This way, it keeps you in alignment. I can't say enough about therapy, and I grew up in a perspective where dealing with emotions and therapy and all that was like a voodoo, right? It's like we don't do that shit. We don't go to therapy. That's crazy. There has to be something wrong with you to go to therapy. You have to be mentally ill. On the contrary, people that go to therapy usually are more introspective. They have more cognitive ability because they're able to talk about things in a more productive way, versus people that really do not want to entertain this specific skill of therapy or being in therapy. I hope this helps, and I want everybody to get excited about therapy. If you have not gone through this process, please seek it out. You don't have to have something wrong with you. If you feel like you are missing something in the quality of your life, if you want to be able to do something and learn how to do something emotionally, this is a wonderful goal in therapy. It doesn't have to be a huge crisis. It could be, I want to learn how to be more happy. We get to define what happiness is to you. We get to define all the other things surrounding it, talk about it. So we get to learn better about what happiness means to you and how to get there. What a wonderful cause to go to therapy, to be able to enhance the quality of your life. I can't think of a more intelligent, more valuable skill and function in your life than therapy. So please stick to it. If you're there, make it a consistent practice in your life. And if you're new to it, seek it. Go out there and do it. You are going to love this self-exploration. If the first therapist that you meet is not a good match for you, that's okay. We're used to being fired, friends. This is normal. We're used to being rejected. So if you don't find it to be a good match, keep looking until you find an experienced therapist that will help you through this wonderful self-discovery journey and to help you explore whatever it is that you want to explore and become whatever it is you want to become. I love this for you. I would love this for my son, and I would love this for any person that I meet. And that's exactly what I provide in the therapy room. Sometimes it sounds a little harsh, but I promise you it's to get you to a better place in a few moments after. I'm doing it with love. I know the impact of it. I want you to live this very deep quality of life. This cannot be done until we face harsh truths about ourselves so we can get ourselves of that mental prison into freedom. So thank you guys for letting me talk about this. I mean, I don't think you had a choice. I just wanted to record this. Thank you guys for listening. And again, if you want to catch this on YouTube and if you subscribe, that would be a wonderful way to support this podcast. And of course, the channel, the YouTube channel, that would be great. Love you guys. Please keep going. Do not stop your therapy journey. Do not stop. Your self-exploration is a lifetime thing. And even if you can't do it financially, try to do it what you can do. I totally understand. Self-examination will keep going. We just learned those skills in therapy and we can continue with those skills even afterwards. And this is the benefit of all this. Thank you for joining me tonight. I'm sending you love and light. Carl Jung says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. This has been an episode of Drive-thru.